If your feminine energy feels numb, rough, or harsh, if you've been wanting to soften into a feminine embodiment, I want you to know that if this is something that you find difficult, if you've read all the books, if you've looked at the YouTube videos, okay, if you've said all of the feminine, I am feminine affirmations, and you still find yourself stuck, then your nervous system is likely in survival mode. All right. And your nervous system is your body's alarm system, your body's compass. And so what will happen is anything that's unfamiliar to you is going to shock your nervous system. Your nervous system, even though it's something that's easier, right? Feminine embodiment is softer. It receives, it magnetizes. Because it's unfamiliar to your body, your nervous system, it will do everything it can to protect you. So it will put you in the silent, okay, this is something that's invisible and silent. Okay, it will put you in a state of anxiety. And if you've been taught to work hard and grind, all right, you don't just unplug from that programming. All right. If you've been taught to constantly give of yourself and sacrifice yourself, you don't just unplug and just, you can absolutely decide, hey, I desire to be more feminine, right? To embody feminine pleasure and magnetism and attraction. However, your body doesn't feel safe in this type of state, okay? Because your family, because society, especially if you are a black woman, right, has taught you that your programming should be to work in order to be worthy. All right? So that's what your programming and your nervous system feels safe to do. All right? So I used to think I needed to work my way into feeling feminine. I was like, okay, I'm a hardworking nurse. Nurses especially are taught to, and again, this is a a problem in the black community, and that we were taught that you graduate, you go to work, you get the degree, you make the money, sometimes you get married, and then that's how you prove your worth, right? So I thought that in terms of feminine embodiment, that I could just flip a switch, right? And then all of a sudden, then I'll feel more soft, more magnetic. I did all of the affirmations. I was reading the books, girl, and I still felt like there was this block. But I will say some of that work, well, all of it worked. It's not that I regret any of the work that I did. It led me to this point where I said, you know what? It hit me. My body doesn't feel safe, right? My nervous system doesn't feel safe. It feels like I still need to be working. I even took multiple sabbaticals. All right. I've been off of regular grueling 9 to 5 work for 9 months, right? And it still can be super difficult to rest. Why? Because I don't feel safe to rest. Like, oh my God, I feel so lazy, but I'm not lazy. I was asking my nervous system, my body, to open up, but she was still bracing for impact of, oh, if you don't work hard, then you won't get money. If you don't work hard, if you don't if you don't do all the things, then you won't be feminine. First of all, you already have a soft feminine essence, but you've been fed otherwise, as I mentioned. All right. The funny thing is that feminine embodiment doesn't start with pleasure or softness, right? We actually don't start off with, oh, yeah, like you can, fine, dress differently. You can, like me, I was buying all the things. But it actually starts with safety. If you've been programmed, if you grew up in environments where you were taught that, your worth isn't determined by how much work you do, how much you perform, how much you audition for men or friends or work, whatever the case may be, it's easier because you're not programmed for that, right? But feminine embodiment, for those of us who are used to struggle and used to having to brace for the impact of not working or not resting or not receiving, we have nervous system regulating to do. All right? We have to start with a nervous system that knows she's no longer in danger, and that starts with rewiring. All right? And I am so passionate about teaching women to regulate their nervous systems as the foundation of feminine embodiment, because anything else is going to crumble. Like I said, you can buy all the clothes, the makeup. You can, like me, I was like taking the trips, it still wasn't enough because it didn't start from the inside out, right? Once I started to slow down my overdrive, then I could see myself softening into safety. I still have work to do, I'll be honest with you. And I've been working on this actively, for the past few months. But I want to invite you to download my free guide. It's called the Feminine Nervous System Guide. And these practices, there's not just practices, there's information on why your body can't soften into this feminine embodiment. All right. And also, there are certain types of feminine nervous system dysregulation. And so I put the link in the bio. Let me know in the comments if this spoke to you, or, send this to a sister who's also stuck in survival mode, but who wants to lean more into feminine embodiment. Okay. I'm so honored to walk this path with you. If this resonates with you, please like and subscribe. Bye.